Tell me what we got here. We got 6 graves or what?
6 graves. Yes.
This find was stumbled up on how many years ago?
A couple of years ago, about 2, about this time.
How did that happen?
One of the members of the Northern Virginia Relic Hunters Association, he was hunting for relics in this area, and he stumbled across a trash pit, what he thought was a trash pit, and he was digging into it, and in the process he dug up quite a bit of it, but then he ran into the skull of one of the burials, and realizing that it was a burial, he backfilled everything, put everything back in, all the artifacts, covered it up and camouflaged it so that grave robbers and people who are after artifacts, you know, and aren't scrupulous wouldn't get to it. And then he notified other members of the Relic Hunters Association to get the information to the owner so that it could be dealt with if this place were to be developed.
Right. Now, since then, 2 years ago, you started getting involved recently.
Yeah. Well, we had gotten involved before then, recognizing that this piece of property had Civil War history in it anyway. We asked the developer to do some archaeology, and he agreed to do some. So he did an archaeological survey here before the grave was found, and they didn't find anything then. And then when he'd heard about the grave, the McDonald's Corporation, who owned this place, they had another crew come in and do archaeology here, and they still didn't find it, because the archaeological guidelines are really not that tight that they're going to be able to pick up an isolated grave in something like this and a needle in a haystack to hit it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you found one. You narrowed down on one.
Well, what happened is he called us. Again, the McDonald's people called us right before they were starting to develop and said, you know, we have this report, and we'd like to make sure that this grave, if and wherever it is treated properly, can you all take care of it and deal with it? So I got through to the Relic Hunters, and we got the guy out here, and we located it. And then we got Dr. Owlsley from the Smithsonian, the McDonald's people, and our people out at the same time to sit down and lay out what we're going to do and plan it.
Yeah. After you found that first grave right here, how long did it take you to establish that you had 6 in all?
Well, right after the meeting we had out here where Owlsley found, where we recognized the first one, we went through and did some probing. We stayed afterward in the afternoon, and we probed much of the area around here. And we were pretty confident that we had identified at least 4 of the other ones. Then you don't know for sure until you actually open it, you know, take this topsoil off, and you can see the grave shafts that you've got them. But we were pretty confident that we had at least 4.
And then you found another one.
Yeah, then we found another one when we were stripping. We thought it might be there, but that's in a sandstone area, and there was a lot of rock in it, so we weren't really totally sure. But when they stripped the topsoil off and we cleaned the dark soil off the top, we could see the dark stains from the grave shafts.
Looking at the skeleton down there, are they pretty well preserved for how old they are?
Well, I'm not a specialist on this. Dr. Owlsley will know more than I would about that. My background's more prehistoric.
But you're looking at buttons and what other stuff is still there?
Well, actually, there's some good preservation in terms of the fabric. Okay, the uniform fabric is still there. We got the buttons, of course, but they're glass. They would survive for thousands of years, not just hundreds. The bones in that one are okay, but they're still pretty decayed and pretty rough.
Fabric and
shoe part, you know.